This week, Bianca Belair splits some hairs, Alexa makes a scene, and the big dog continues to sit at the head of the table. Welcome to the Full Nelson Press.
We did it. We did 4 nights of wrestling.
Oh my god.
We are so ready to review for our 100th episode.
Feel the door!
Bring it to the floor.
Yeah, dude, it is our 100th episode.
100.
Welcome to the Full Nelson Press. My name is Brandon Kirkpatrick. I'm here with my co-host Peter O'Brien. Make sure you subscribe to the Full Nelson Press on YouTube and find our audio feed on any podcast app. Pete, are you ready? It's WrestleMania!
Dude, everything's wet here. Why is it so wet? Oh,
It's
that's
so
right.
soggy.
It was an outdoor stadium in Florida.
In April.
April showers ruins WrestleMania's followers. Oh!
Don't be that surprised that you just rhymed something.
Dude,
it's not
I
that
killed
much
it.
of an
Mic drop.
accomplishment.
I'm out.
Well, yeah, dude, it's not only is it WrestleMania 37, but it is our 100th episode. This is 100 times I've had to yell at you about wrestling.
100! Never thought we'd get there.
Let's just get into the event, because that's what we do best.
Yeah, we have so much to talk about.
so much to talk about. It starts with a 40-minute rain delay
Ugh.
right off the bat.
So during that, I played Hot Shots Racing, which has nothing to do with wrestling. And I couldn't win. The computer kept destroying my car. It was stupid.
Well, I'm pretty sure the guy that we were watching the show with was also killing you just as much.
Yeah, it was cheap.
So then we get right into Hogan and Titus O'Neil come out to introduce WrestleMania. Always great to see Hogan get booed in
Oh
a
my
stadium.
God.
Man, it's just great to have a crowd back. I
Yes.
never want to go back to the Thunderdome.
Oh, I don't either. And I am so glad that Hogan got booed again. I don't care. I think it's awesome.
It's not just now, like, so we'll just get it out of the way, but he, like, shows up, like, not much in night one. I think they only show up once.
Yeah.
And then, like, they continue to show up in little bits, almost like they forgot they were the hosts the second
Yep.
night. And each time Hogan is on the television, everyone's booing him. I loved it.
Loved it.
First match of the first night is Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. It was a hard-hitting match. I really love this match. I'm super happy that Bobby won. I thought the little distraction with MVP was weird.
It was weird.
It just like it was the only bad thing about the match, and that doesn't say much.
It didn't really affect it too bad. I know
Well,
we
it
were kind of
affected the
thrown.
finish.
Yeah, we were kind of thrown off, but still, like Bobby Lashley, like putting Drew to sleep, just finally flexes like he's
That
the
was
powerhouse.
awesome. Yes.
Dug it. Yeah, overall the match was great. It might have went like a hair too long, but I'm not gonna gripe too much on it. I really liked it. I thought it was an awesome thing. I'm glad that the Hurt business, which is stupid that they broke it up.
Right, like, wouldn't this be an awesome moment for all four
Right?
of them right now?
Why can't that be? Like, you did it with New Day. Like, why can't you do it with Bobby Lashley in the Hurt business? This is huge, and the Hurt business should be huge, but
Exactly.
that's probably the biggest down. Other than that, it was awesome. Like, I'm glad Bobby Lashley's getting pushed, and Bobby Lashley looks really good right now. Like, he's doing great in the ring. He's had great matches. It reminds me of, like, Drew McIntyre when he won it. Drew McIntyre was putting on good matches, so I really think it was a positive plus to the event.
And then more on Drew McIntyre. I think this still made him look great. I mean, he got choked out, but that's because it was that hard hitting of a match.
Yeah.
And you got caught up in Bobby Lashley's finishing move. So I liked it. I was a huge fan of this. Super excited. I'm excited to see who Bobby's going to take on next because I think he's just amazing in the ring right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, bravo, Bobby.
Next is the Tag Team Turmoil match. This match determined who is going to be the number one contender for the following night on WrestleMania. It starts with Lana and Naomi coming out versus Carmella and Billie Kay. I didn't see it, but I guess Lana had an interesting entrance. What happened there, Pete?
Yeah, the lights bounced off her outfit a little revealing. You could tell, and you're just like, I don't know if they really understood the black light. Because, you know, when you're with Naomi, there's only one thing you always feel is the glow.
Bring it to the floor.
That's a 2-time feel the glow. I can't
Well, yeah,
believe I
because you
did
didn't
it.
do one the last two episodes.
I had to catch
so-
up. The big thing about this match is, can we skip it? Like, do we even have to talk about it? It was a mess.
Well, there were some highlights, and when I mean highlights, I mean Mandy Rose fell during her
Poor girl.
entrance. Riot Squad should have won this, but
Yes.
instead Natty and Tammy get the win. And I love how they talk about it the following night about how like they went through all these women. They were
No,
the last
they were the
entrants
last
in the
ones.
turmoil match.
This was terrible. Like this was an all-time low, and the whole like give the women a chance revolution is almost out the window because we're back to square one again.
Well, exactly.
The Riot Squad had a story that made sense. Like they're an actual tag team. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are actually a tag team too. Either one of them should have won. But the fact that they just gave it to Natty and Tamina for some reason. Like they
Right.
thought that this was gonna really draw them in. No, like we want a tag team, and the Riot Squad should have won.
Who's excited to be like, yay, can't wait for night 2 to be Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus the Wish version of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax?
It was bad. This whole thing is a mess, and the women's tag division is in shambles.
And we'll get into it more, so let's get on to a good match. It's Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. What a spectacular match. Crazy reversals, crazy spots. Cesaro breaks his swing record. I loved this match.
Oh
This
my God.
might be the WrestleMania match of both nights right here.
I believe it is, and also the fact that like when he countered Seth when he had his legs and Seth did a backflip, but right into the neutralizer and he got him.
Mhm.
Like I was just like that was so seamless. Like Cesaro put on a 5-star match. When people said that, and this may be me getting ahead of myself, but the match on the main event the second night was the match of the year. No, this match by far was way better. It was more technical. You'd even have like a lot of storytelling, but my God, these two were great in the ring together. It was so good.
They brought up no storytelling. I can't even remember what it was. It's like he has a beef with Seth and like Shinsuke got involved. I don't care. This was a great win for Cesaro and an awesome match. I want to see this again. If they said it's Cesaro versus Seth Rollins at Backlash, I'd be like, cool, let's do it again.
The counter of Seth doing the curb stomp to Cesaro uppercutting him. I was just like, what can't Cesaro do? Like, he
Right.
is so good. Is it just the talking part that holds him up the most? Because in the ring, there's nobody better. I will put him on top of, like, being the best.
Not only is he, I think, great at being a wrestler, he's great at selling. He can put over anyone you want. I kind of want Cesaro to be number one contender for the Universal title. I would love that right now.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't win it, still that match, I don't want to get too far ahead. So we'll get on to the next match. It's the Raw Tag Team Championship match. It's the New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. Omos' gimmick is just that he's 8 foot, loves smooth jazz, and wears turtlenecks.
The build-up for this match is kind of like, it's not a tag team taking on a tag team. Like, that's where I was kind of, like, hung up on. Styles doing most of the brunt work. The match was okay. Everyone wanted, almost though, like, everyone wanted him. And when he got in there, he delivered. Like, I was just like, this is entertaining. This is great. The way Styles jumped over the rope off of his shoulders and did the forearm, and then he just plants, was it Kofi?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I dug it. I'm actually on board with this team. Like, that actually worked. I was fine with this match. I think the outcome was great. And now you got like this buddy tall guy, and like, I don't know if there's heel or face. I don't really care. I think it's awesome.
It's a shame that this had to follow Rollins and Cesaro, because I think like everyone was kind of exhausted from that match and they didn't really care about this match in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think everyone was just kind of stagnant on that. With Omos, I like to compare him against like the Great Khali, and he seems to be like a lot more agile than when the Great Khali first debuted in the WWE.
First of all, everyone is way more agile than the Great Khali.
Well, the dude's like 8 foot, so like sometimes you got to kind of be like a little leery on how much they can actually do and how agile they can be in the ring.
I think science has changed.
Maybe the same way you feel anxiety against Tamina's knees is the same way I feel about Great Khali's
I'm
legs.
just sorry. There's sometimes when Tamina's walking that I'm just like, wow, she just has such a heavy foot when she walks. It looks like one's gonna buckle and there's an ACL. Look at Braun Strowman. Like, he was huge, and then he slimmed
Sure.
down. Big Show got slimmer once he figured out like how to maintain his weight, and he got more agile. I think the bigger people aren't just there to be big anymore. They're actually like jacked because of like, you know, what you can study with weightlifting and stuff, that it makes them safer to move.
But with Big Show and with Braun Strowman, they came out being agile right out of the gate. You were seeing drop kicks, you were seeing them going on the top rope, where like Omos has been pretty much grounded to the mat since he's been in NXT and WWE. And that's why I'm a little bit leery with him. But I think he proved that he's still young. He can still do a lot in the ring. So I'm excited to see where they go. And a lot of it could be him just being green in the ring as well.
I think so too, but being paired with AJ Styles, who could take most of it and he can learn from him, yeah, This is great. I think it's smart, and I'm glad the New Day finally dropped the belt again.
But that's the thing. I don't want to get into the tag teams too much.
I don't want New Day taking them on again.
But like, who's next? Is it look forward to them taking on the Usos in like a month? I don't know.
That's the thing. There's no tag teams.
Next is the steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Shane O'Mac. This match is determined if Strowman is an idiot or not. I didn't get the whole ramifications or what that was about.
For Strowman being stupid, this was the most like stupid
Dumbest
build up to a match I've ever seen. Like, it made no sense. It was just like some kid picking on another kid, kept calling him stupid. Like, it made no sense. And for some reason, WWE thought this was a smart thing to do.
The match proved its point if you were trying to make Strowman look strong, because like he rips off the cage door. Then after he throws Shane off the top of the cage, he then doesn't escape. He gets back in the ring, does a couple more moves, and then pins him. And he's like, I'm not an idiot. While everyone else is like, dude, you should have just escaped the cage. That was an idiot move.
The match actually overall was fine. Like, Shane took the bumps, but I also don't want Shane in my WrestleMania all the time. The match was good.
He's just doing it to impress his father.
This one here, like, there was a payoff. And the big thing about WrestleMania, and I think this is where Night 2 was just kind of like wishy-washy. What's the payoff for all these feuds? WWE not building up feuds anymore? It just sucks because the payoff is just so, like, flatline. Where, like, The Rock and Cena feuded for a year, and they finally, like, had it out. The Rock and Hogan, like, Stone Cold and The Rock, and I keep throwing The Rock in there, but, like, these feuds mattered, and you had a build-up for, like, a while, and now we just get, like, 3 weeks to try to get invested into this. Which is where the Strowman thing, I was just like, who cares? But the match was fine. Like, Shane doing the bump off the top. Good for you, man. I'm not doing that.
With WrestleMania, it should be half and half. It should be that half of these payoffs should happen, and half of the seeds should be planted for what you want to do in SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And you're not doing that. WrestleMania is the place because it's such... You have that feeling about the high caliber match because it's finally storylines concluding. It's a season. You're watching pretty much 3 season finales in a 4-hour event.
Exactly.
And you're not getting that here. It's like you started it up and they're like, well, tune into our web series. We'll finish it up there.
The other thing with Strowman and Shane that I thought was weird, Strowman sold Shane's little tappy punches like they were the most devastating hits in the world. Like, Strowman
Well, he doesn't want to be fired, dude.
He used to flip ambulances, and you're telling me those little taps hurt you? Like, you know, we're not burying this match. It's just, it was a good match. Just, that's our problem with it. It's just like, so?
Yeah, exactly.
Strowman being billed as a monster was fine, and I'm okay with it. But the only problem is, Strowman's gonna lose to, like, the Lucha House Party next week. Like, you know,
like he's hot and cold so much in the WWE, you cannot give a fuck anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So next, it is Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus the Dirt Sheet duo, Miz and Morrison. Fire Dominic Mysterio and give Bad Bunny the contract because he outperformed Dominic in every match he had in 2020.
I was going into that being like, what am I walking into? Thinking Damian Priest was gonna do most of it, and Damian Priest did not do most of it.
No, he sat at the corner most of the match.
You know, the hip-hop song like that Miz and Morrison put out was comical, but like I got it.
It just didn't sound good live. It just the whole
they were
entrance
lip-syncing.
sounded like shit.
And this is the problem with some of the things that we see with these live things. They had the music track with the voices in it, and then they were also singing too. So they were singing off key with the actual song, so it didn't make sense, and you could really hear it. You know, Miz and Morrison and Bad Bunny, they put on a show. It was entertaining. You know, like Bad Bunny doing like a little Falcon Arrow suplex or whatever. That was good. Jumping off the rope.
He knew he had to entertain. And I think it proves that he is he's obviously a wrestling fan because he knows that he has to deliver if he wants it to be a memorable match that the crowd isn't going to shit on.
Yep, he showed out, and I'm glad he won. I don't think it makes Morrison and Miz look weak because, like, you know, Priest did put on some moves too, and like that's a good little showing for Priest, like as a little stepping stone.
But Bad Bunny beat a WWE champion because like Miz was champion like 2 months ago.
So it was good. I really liked it. I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about this match.
I had low expectations and it met and went beyond them, so I have to give it props.
Yep.
So next is the main event of night 1. It's Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The bell rings, they both get emotional, and it just completely wipes away the last 60 days of bad storytelling between the two.
Yeah.
Just the setup of the entrances just completely wiped all of it away. It was such an awesome match. You cannot write wrestling any better than what happened tonight, I think, at the main event. And there was a weight to the match, heavier than the actual title itself.
You know how when Rock and Hogan stood in the ring and like people were going crazy? Like, you know, with Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, they're not on the level of the Rock and Hogan, but you know, that moment of everyone just getting hyped, like it shows how much like people wanted this match to happen.
Right.
And this match was really good. It was a great way to close the show out. I mean, Bianca Belair picking up Banks and walking into the ring, like, get out of here.
Props to Sasha, because I think she also delivered in this match.
Yeah.
I think both women did a great job here.
And then you just found out that Bianca Belair's favorite song is I Whip My Hair Back and Forth, because that hair
Holy
whip,
shit.
you could see the cut on her side, like, it
I'm surprised
hit
Sasha
her.
didn't need stitches.
That hair whip was nasty.
Right?
That's how you close out a match. You don't have, like, another kick out, like, her winning off of that.
Also, I want to compare the Sasha Banks using Bianca Belair's hair in her finishing submission match.
Yep.
Submission move versus the unsanctioned match using the chains that just flopped down to the ground as they were trying to use those. Like, there's just such a different dynamic there. Everyone was into it, especially when she's pulling her hair. Oh, it's just an awesome match. I love this. I cannot wait to rewatch it.
Great way to close out night one. Also, Montez Ford almost botched sliding into the ring to celebrate. He almost
He
didn't
was too
make it.
excited.
Yeah, but overall, yeah, night one, it was good, except for the women's tag. Night one hit.
And you forgot about that. You know,
Yeah, you completely forgot about that match
Yeah.
until night two.
Just like NXT, man, night one just kills it, and it just, you don't want to set your expectations too high. But when you look at the card for night two, you're looking to see what they did in night one with that card, you're just excited. And so the night two starts. The first match of the night, it's The Fiend versus Randy Orton.
I have been saying on this show, this is the match. This is the one that has the biggest payoff. This is the one that we've been building the longest. And then WWE walks up and kicks me right in the scrotum. Like,
Right in the dick.
So, you're telling me that the entrances took longer than the actual match. The entrances drug on. I'm a fan of The Fiend, but my God, it was too long. Randy Orton acting like, I don't want to slip thing. I get your little reference, Orton. Just get to the ring, dude. You didn't have much to show. Alexa skipping down to the ring took too long. The Jack in the Box part was really cool as a reveal that the Fiend is back. But then everything took too long. And then when the match happened, it was just like the winds were sucked out of the sail. Haha, pirates. Why do all this? And then just have Alexa Bliss have black licorice water pour over her face. And the Fiend's that distracted and gets killed on one RKO. He got thrown into the table and it didn't even phase him. But
Right?
an RKO is that devastating?
Was it 6 months ago we saw Seth Rollins continuously do curb stomps to him and he couldn't get the pin or
Nope.
couldn't get him to stay down? One RKO does
One
it.
RKO.
I really felt like everything they did with Alexa Bliss, I was like, oh, so this is going to be the first of many bits they're going to do during this match. Nope, it is the only
That
bit. It
was
is the
it?
finish. And I fucking loved it. I loved it, Pete, because I had such low expectations. I knew this was going to be a shit show. I called it when we did the last pay-per-view about this. This is not going to be the end.
Yep.
They're going to continually kick through the mud and just drag their feet as much as they can with this. When I heard your reaction to everything, I just couldn't stop laughing.
I was
had
so
to mute
pissed.
my mic.
I
knew you were so
pissed
mad
'cause
that
it
I was like,
so stupid.
I knew this is how it was going to go.
I can't believe how dumb this was. This was so dumb and moronic. And I saw people say, well, maybe it's like Alexa becoming powerful and being Sister Abigail. Fine, freaking let her, but Jesus, Fiend needs to win. You can't bill him as this monster if he keeps losing, because look what happens to monsters if you keep having this wishy-washy billing. And Orton is not that powerful. Oh, it was just... What killed it, this is stupid too, because this is the beginning to the second night, and I was pissed.
And I truly think that they're saving whatever they're going to do for tonight on Raw, because we're recording this Monday morning with our WrestleMania hangovers. Randy Orton's probably out of the picture, and I think it's just going to be Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt feuding. That's what I see happening here, and they're going to have some kind of special match at Backlash together.
That just destroyed the momentum of that character. Because then after this terrible match, it's followed up by an even worse match.
It's the Women's Tag Team Championship match. It's Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defend their titles against Natty and Tammy. Natty keeps setting up to get hit, which I thought was the best part of the match,
Yeah.
because she knows when a punch is going to happen. She knows when she's got to be in a certain spot in the corner, but because she's so good, she's there 3 seconds ahead of everyone else, so it makes it look even worse.
What I don't get is how she just couldn't just improv a little bit more, because my God,
Right.
she just stood there. Also, shame on WWE for showing those camera angles. If you're there live, you're probably laughing, but like we're on TV and we're not there. So like, why
Right.
is she standing like this? Why is the camera on her?
Natty wrestling sometimes is like watching someone rehearse square dancing.
Nia Jax trying to flex and cuss on screen to like make
She
it
calls
more...
herself the King Kong bitch.
Yeah, and like trying to make it more intimidating. No, Baszler should not be in this. She's too good. She needs to be a singles competitor. This sucked. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this one. This match
No,
just
it was
sucked.
bad. Even the finish, because Natty just puts Nia in the sharpshooter, but the ref keeps telling her that's not the legal woman. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like, the ref should have just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then gave the belts back to fucking Shayna and Nia, because none of that ending made sense at all. So Baszler comes in, chokes out Natty, and they're still champions.
It's just basically like the beginning to night 2 was so lackluster.
I think I even said, like, when we were watching, I was like, okay, let's just get through all the shit matches and get to those good matches that'll be at the end of the night. Like, it'll all be forgiven, and it just keeps I feel like just really struggling. I loved what Matthew said from Botchamania. He said, I'd love it if they just took the women's tag, put them on NXT UK so we can never
Yep.
see them again.
If you're watching WrestleMania and you watch night 1 and you see the entrance and the video package, do you really have to show it night 2, or do they really believe only people are just
Also,
tuning in for
3
the second
times.
night? The momentum to night 2 was so stalled by long entrances, video packages. It just like drug, and it was almost like the theme of the night. Like entrances just drug on too long.
If you want entrances to be long, like, I'm not a fan of it, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Instead of showing me video packages of the night before, how about, because this is the biggest night, this is the most people that are going to be viewing your product, instead of showing me what happened the night before, how about you put some wrestlers on the mic and do some backstage segments? So
Something.
that way you can kind of push some of these wrestlers that someone who's casually not watching can see. So let's get on. It's going to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens taking on each other, and whoever wins, I guess, gets the approval of Logan Paul. I don't know how that works.
These two can't put on a bad match. They never have.
It was an awesome
they
match.
never will. Logan Paul being there, I don't get. I know it's just like the celebrity WrestleMania cameo thing, but Logan Paul, I mean, he is the most hated person ever.
I'll give him props. Like, WWE, they just let him sit in the corner
Yeah.
for the whole match, and then just come in at the end and just take a stunner, which he sold okay, so I didn't mind that. Like, just
I was okay
I got
with
to
it.
watch Logan Paul get stunnered, and that was it. He didn't even talk much.
That's the thing, is like, we've seen this match so much, like, these two can't put on a good match, and the way this feud was built up, like, it was just kind of, like, lame. Oh, Sammy's losing his mind? Like, remember when you guys had the feud about how you guys grew up together? Like, that one had weight. This one was just kind of like, well, I'll fight you at Mania, I guess.
Right. We also came in there going, like, I don't care what the story is.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. And they delivered. I thought it was an awesome match.
Yeah, like, but now what?
Right. So now both of them win, and then they both go to the respective feuds where they both are going to lose again.
Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe?
So next, it's Riddle defends his United States Championship against Sheamus. This match, I think, it had a nice couple spots that I thought were good. I'm glad Sheamus won.
I'm calling it match of the night for night 2.
Really?
I do think it was the best. I'm sorry. You know, when I was watching Sheamus trying to set up for that white noise on that rope, you could just see the rope shaking, and I'm just like, how is a guy, even though you're that big, this has got to be like the hardest thing to do. Like, you have to pick him up, put him
Right.
over your shoulder, get him set up, and then step up a ring. And when he even fell, like, he still was holding Riddle. I'm just like, Jesus, Sheamus is strong.
Well,
But that
I will give
sucks.
Sheamus props on that. I don't think that's... I think he didn't try to execute the move. You know,
Yeah.
he didn't try to be dangerous about it and try to rush through it. He knew it wasn't going to work. Even if that meant it didn't look good to the crowd, he just dropped down. I'll give him props for that. I don't think that was an issue. I just don't like Riddle.
I don't think anybody likes Riddle. I think with, like, his past, I think there's something about Riddle that people just can't get behind. And then to make him into this stoner dummy,
Who forgets his lines.
I'm okay with him forgetting his lines. Like, to be honest, I know it wasn't real, but I'd rather him just do that stupid bit of, like, I don't know what I'm
But
saying.
that's probably why he lost the title, is because he forgot his lines on Raw and made Vince look like an idiot.
Maybe, I don't know. But also in the same sense, the little bit with Rob Van Dam giving him rolling
Oh,
papers.
I'll give him that one.
That was hilarious.
What is this?
The thing with Riddle is I think he has so much baggage with other things that I think that's why people just can't like fully get behind Riddle. I've seen people say he's disrespecting the United States Championship, which I was like, comical. Like, are you kidding me?
WWE does a pretty good job on their own.
I don't think that's it. I think it's just more the character he's now from NXT to here. His past isn't that great. He puts on a good match. He can put on matches. He's really good in the ring. He isn't bad. But that knee to the face was awesome. And I don't know if there was a blood capsule in his mouth or whatnot. That's an awesome way to finish the match. Sometimes you can do a move that's so devastating that comes out of nowhere that you can have a pin, like, and it's okay because you have the surprise factor. And I think they did that with Sheamus.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm happy that Sheamus won.
Yep.
I think I was gonna be really upset because like Sheamus versus Riddle. I think Sheamus can out-wrestle Riddle.
Yep.
I was super excited for that. Who do I think he's going to take on next? I don't even care. Sheamus is U.S. champion, and I'm just happy about it. Next, it's the Intercontinental Championship match. Big E puts his title on the line against Apollo Crews in a drum match?
They didn't use the drums. Why do that, Vince? That made no sense. Should just had like an unsanctioned match between these two. Wale's concert at the beginning was so poorly lip synced, like you could tell he just quit halfway through that you kind of just laughed at it.
And then they show all the drums and the gong, and as soon as the match starts, they all get kendo sticks and start slapping each other. Someone takes the gong down, and then we never address the gong or the drums for the remainder of the match.
I thought there was actually going to be people drumming to like make make it more intense and get like that big fight feel, and they didn't do that. And I like Big E, and Apollo Crews isn't bad anymore. Like, he now has a character. Before he was just Apollo. He was just
the
a
dude
guy
who smiled a lot.
And now he has a character. And the fact, what's his face from Underground comes and helps him.
So it's Dabba-Kato, but I think they're calling him like Commander Azim or something like that.
Something like that, but I dig it.
The pants were weird. I don't like the white pants. They should have been like camo or something like that. I know I'm nitpicking, but it's just weird.
I think this faction's good. I think this is smart.
I think so too. I want more. Put more in that.
I'm okay with this, and I'm okay with Big E losing because, to be honest, I want Big E in the main title picture. I want him there. He's a star. He needs to be more like main event, not IC. And there's definitely a huge following with Big E. And I'm really glad, like, when he came out, I didn't see New Day Big E. I saw Big E. And I think they're starting to part more ways with it because I don't want him linked up with New Day anymore. Like, I want you to be the star.
I kind of want to see Apollo Crews hire Retribution as mercenaries.
Good.
They don't have to have any kind of, like, storyline binding them to be, like, we're part of, like, wherever Apollo's from. Like, it's just, they're hired mercenaries. We hired all three of these dudes. If you want to call them Mace and all that stuff and keep their things with them, that's fine. But I think that is new life into Retribution.
As a mercenary, don't you like have a code name so like nobody actually knows who you are?
Exactly,
like,
dude.
You're going behind enemy lines and stuff like that.
And they're looking for a leader.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'd be on board with that.
That's what I would do.
So Apollo would have a super faction then, because all those guys are huge.
It doesn't even have to be a super faction. They could still lose like they did at Retribution.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you're still putting over Apollo Crews. Because that's the thing with Retribution. They're all throwaway characters. Everyone who's in Retribution right now can re-debut as themselves, and it will not take anything away from what they did in Retribution. So at this point, I say just use them like it's a burning boat.
But here's the other thing, though, and this is the continuing thing with, like, WrestleMania Night 2. I don't feel like this story's over. I feel like we're going to get it at Backlash now. We're going to get Big E. But I'm not. WrestleMania is the show of shows. WrestleMania should have the payoff. Not WrestleMania is the stepping stone for Backlash. That's the thing that the problem is with all these pay-per-views. Like, I'm okay with Apollo Crews winning, all right? But because he lost on the pay-per-view before, then he wins this one, we're going to get it again. And I'm like, then what's the point of WrestleMania? What's the point of the show of shows? This should be done. Big E should be done with it, but I have a sinking feeling we're going to get a continuation. The same you say with The Fiend and Orton. You think Orton's out. I honestly believe he's not. I think Orton's still going to stick around because of just the way the story went. And I want WrestleMania to be the culmination of shows. And Night 2 I didn't get that.
I think it has to be half and half. I think if this is something that they're trying to build something for either Big E or Apollo Crews towards SummerSlam, I'm okay if that means that this continues off into Backlash. And then hopefully after that, I would hope it peters off.
Hey, don't use my name like that.
My bad. But I think it's fine. This kind of feud between these, I don't think we've actually seen a proper good match between the two because they haven't had the time or the right match to do it. Like, this match was stupid because they had to use kendo sticks. They had to go get a table. I would love to see a one-on-one match between Apollo Crews and Big E in an actual pay-per-view match and then be done with it. Peter Bryan it off. I don't care.
Hey.
Next, it's the Raw Women's Championship match. It's the champion Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I really like the match. I think
It was a good match.
Rhea Ripley's entrance was great. Like, that band actually sung, so that was a plus. It got me hyped for Rhea Ripley. Asuka knew exactly what she was doing. Like, the match had good pacing. It was good. Asuka's counters to Rhea Ripley's power. The DDT off the side. It almost looked like Rhea Ripley's, like, metal part on her outfit broke. So you could see a couple times she kept pulling it up, which I'm just like, some of these ladies, I'm like, why don't you just make sure you got like a better outfit, like, so you don't have to worry about that.
It's not just the female, but it's the males too. Like, every outfit should have like a plan B to it if like your main strap breaks. I really felt like this match was only half the match, though. Like, it was so abrupt, and I felt like the match was a little too short, that this match should have gone, like, twice as long as it did.
Rhea Ripley's finisher, the Riptide, I don't think a lot of people in the crowd knew what her finisher was. And I think it happened so quick, like, they were trying to pull, like, the, oh my god, she, like, just countered into her finisher and won, which kind of, like, lets Asuka, like, she didn't lose weak. It was just a quick counter, Riptide, she lost.
Without the replay, it really just looked like she lost to a spine buster.
It was a pump handle slam. It's like more of the pump handle slamish, but like, I was okay with it. I'm glad Rhea Ripley's a champion. I don't think it's any fault to Asuka, but like, that girl, like, her championship runs, like, she's had some bad luck.
Well, so in the end, it's now Sasha Banks is 0-6 at WrestleMania and Asuka is 0-4 at WrestleMania.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That's really weird because they're the two top women up there next to Charlotte. Next, it's the main event of WrestleMania, the Universal Championship match. It's a triple threat between the rated R superstar, the eco-friendly Daniel Bryan, and the head of the table, Roman Reigns.
Do you think that there is so much hype between Edge and Orton with the greatest match of the year, and then this one with, like, these three? There's so much hype for it to deliver that they just kind of fall a little flat. Like, because you're so pumped and so jacked because of, like, how they build it. But then when it happens, you just kind of go like, huh.
Yes and no, because it depends on the competitor. Like, I'm excited to see what Edge and Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns are going to do. I generally get hyped about that. Now, if you would say that this was like Jinder Mahal was in this match instead of Daniel Bryan, I think that I'd just kind of be like, I don't really...
Yeah, I think the star caliber for it was awesome.
I know Daniel Bryan has matches that I've enjoyed that have delivered. I've seen Roman Reigns have matches that I've enjoyed that have delivered, and same with Edge. So when you put all three of them together, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's true. Again, I feel like Roman Reigns challenging Undertaker's entrance record is getting old. Like, it takes way too long. Like, I understand he's the intimidating guy, but dude, you can be intimidating, but my god, that entrance just... You're, like, getting hyped, and it's just like, ugh.
Well, how are you going to tell me that the dude who stood next to Vince McMahon during the opening promo with the rest of McMahon in a suit and then got a big pyro for his entrance is going to lose the main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I loved the finish. I'm so happy that Roman Reigns won this. If you look at all three of these guys on the street and said, who do you think's going to kick whose ass? I'm going to pick Roman Reigns.
But Roman Reigns had the most health, and he's the most intimidating.
That's the one thing I hated.
That's the heel aspect, and I get that, but Uso didn't need to really be there.
I loved how at the beginning of the match, everyone collectively tells Uso to fuck off and just beat him up and throws him out, and that should have been it. That should have been it for him. I think if you want Roman to win this for the remainder of the match after Uso got out the first time, they should have made him look strong, and they didn't deliver on that with having Uso having to come back in when Roman was about to tap. Daniel Bryan, he has maybe 2 WrestleManias left in him, and they are not going to be the next 2 years. Edge, I don't know how long Edge is going to last. It makes sense to put all the power in Roman than these two. I'm excited that Roman is going to be the Universal Champion. I think finally, after this entire time Roman's return had been heel, that we finally show that he is still the big dog, head of the table.
Let's talk about some other things. Daniel Bryan and Edge put on a pretty decent show. Edge's spears a couple times were nasty. Daniel Bryan choking out Roman Reigns and Edge with the chair piece going through his mouth. That was awesome. I thought their Fastlane match, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, was almost a little better. I thought that had storytelling. It had the thrilling aspect. But with Roman winning with Jey Uso's help, like, I just wanted Roman to win. Like, I just wanted him to just win. Also, Roman drags Edge over Daniel Bryan. Edge is pinning Daniel Bryan. Then Roman lays on top of it. So what? Just because you're on top, you get the dominant pin? Edge was there first. Edge should have had the belt, to be honest. And then Roman could be like, I'm an idiot. And then, like, they could those two could just challenge each other because Daniel Bryan got pinned.
But they've done it so many times where, like, Ryback has thrown two jobbers on each other.
The logic, though, and this is the part where fans get kind of ticked at WWE for treating us like idiots. You could literally now have Edge have the argument to be like, all right, Daniel Bryan's out of the picture. Technically, I pinned him first. And then that's a fine backlash match because you put an end to one story. You put an end to Daniel Bryan. He's done now. He got pinned. But now Edge can finally get his one-on-one at Backlash, and that would actually make more people tune in to Backlash.
I want to see Daniel Bryan versus Edge in a singles match at Backlash. I really wanted to see that Edge comes out and says, you're the reason I didn't win this match, because he did. Daniel Bryan pulls the referee out of the match when he's about to get the 3 count on Roman. And I think they should focus mostly on that, and I really want to see Edge versus Daniel Bryan at Backlash.
Yeah, I'm more in the Edge versus Roman Reigns camp. Like, if you're going to do it with them. Daniel Bryan, you had your chance, but you got double pinned. Like, so you're out.
You got double pinned. So let's grade it. What do you want to grade night 1 of WrestleMania?
I'll give night 1, like, I was going to go A-, but God, that women's tag match, so I'll go B+.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with an A-. I thought that I didn't like the tag match, but I think everything that happened in the main event just completely washed that away. So I'm going to go with A-. It was almost a perfect wrestling event when it comes to WrestleMania. The biggest A-, Hulk Hogan.
Hogan sucks.
I'll go first for night 2. I kind of want to say like B-, C+ in a way.
I'm going
like there were some really
C.
good things.
I'm just going C. And this could be maybe like a learning tool for WWE. There's so much wrestling building up to the last night of WrestleMania. Like, some people are just fried.
Yeah.
You know, like, whether you like it or not, like, they've watched good matches now for 3 days, and then you have one final night. You gotta deliver.
You have to, because we're exhausted. And by the time we get up to those matches, we're just like, we're pleading with you to be good matches.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, who is your dud of the week?
My dud might be The Fiend. I'm so let down. I was so let down by that match. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bray.
Yeah, all right, okay. I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan.
Burn.
Stud of the week? I'm going with Bayley, dude. She had more TV time than some wrestlers who actually had a match. So, Bayley, stud of the week.
My stud is probably going to be Cesaro. Bravo, buddy. Bravo. Yeah. One of the best matches I've seen in quite some time. Good job.
Perfect. Well, hey, man, that is the Full Nelson Press episode 100. Woo! 100 episodes. If you enjoyed our witty banter on sports entertainment, search the Full Nelson Press on any social media site like Instagram, Facebook. Find us on Twitter at TFNP. You can find myself on Twitter at JohnnyJONNY_Tango and Pete here at MPP360. Pete, have you been playing anything different since we talked?
No, I haven't got to play anything because I had to watch 19,000 hours of wrestling. Okay? All right? I haven't played anything.
All right. Well, hey, go watch some wrestling.
Yeah, that...
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.